I will provide the mayor's report, and I want to provide that report for the period of January 17th through the 30th, although I will acknowledge that I wasn't in the community for that complete period, and I want to thank and acknowledge Deputy Mayor Fenske as well as all council members for covering for me during my absence from the community. I can tell you, though, upon return last Wednesday, it has been a fairly hectic but productive last number of days. I'll start with a meeting held on January the 25th with Gary Sarchuk from the Manitoba Liquor Control Commission. Mr. Sarchuk is in charge of inspections with the MLCC and conveyed what I can only pass along as good news in terms of the number of inspections that are being carried out in our community, and the efforts of the MLCC to work with our operators to ensure that guidelines are being followed, and where those guidelines aren't being followed, that measures are being taken. And I anticipate continuing with the communications, and I certainly appreciate the work. I know that he also took the opportunity to meet with Inspector Duff while he was here. Also on January 25th, the City of Thompson and through the TEDWIG process had an opportunity to meet with the province of Manitoba, and a news release was issued immediately following that meeting, and I just want to read it into the record, and it was dated January 25th, 2012. Alternative justice was identified as a key priority by the Thompson Economic Diversification Working Group, TEDWIG. To advance this priority, the working group convened a subcommittee whose purpose was to shape an action plan highlighting the need for a restorative justice facility in the north. The action plan was developed through an inclusive engagement process and will be submitted to the province for review. To kickstart the review process, a meeting between TEDWIG, the subcommittee, and the province's Adult Corrections Capacity Review Committee took place today, January 25th, at Thompson City Hall. The review committee was struck to provide advice to the province on how to best invest in new corrections facilities. In the meeting, the TEDWIG and subcommittee participants highlighted the key components of the action plan, which includes a vision along with options for facility design, programming, and locations for the facility itself. The vision for the restorative justice facility focuses on healing and treatment, repathing and cultural, spiritual awareness, learning and advancement, reconnection, and the facility being secure and integrated into its surrounding environment. In particular, the vision highlights a united Northern and Aboriginal perspective on how to improve Northern justice issues, Northern solutions by and for the North. In regards to facility design and programming, the action plan recommends a multi-level mixed population facility accommodating both adult and youth males and females that will allow for a wide spectrum of services. These services include a variety of housing options, educational opportunities, a visitation area, and a spiritual center. The Thompson Action Plan also makes a strong argument to locate this facility in the north and in close proximity to Thompson. Aside from the social and economic benefits of locating a restorative justice facility in the north, the City of Thompson is ideally situated to accommodate the operational and logistical requirements of such a facility. This facility could also act as a catalyst for infrastructure development and sustainable employment, pushing forward the city's objectives for future growth and development. And I would point out, if anyone is looking for further information, to contact Mr. Sepatelli at the City of Thompson. I was very pleased to participate in that meeting, and certainly in the announcement of the work that has taken place to date. On January 26th and 27th, I was very pleased to attend a stakeholder meeting called by the province of Manitoba in response to the meeting that was held with ministers in December. The meeting focused on homelessness and addictions. I can tell you I thought it was a very productive two-day session with some specific action steps coming forward to develop a plan with those stakeholders for the implementation of a model in Thompson, all-inclusive model that deals with homelessness and addictions, and clearly recognizes that what we're doing right now in Thompson is not what we need to see in terms of capacity, in terms of resources, and I look forward to those actions coming forward. The city will lead that process, as was discussed with the Minister, Carrie Irvin Ross, and I look forward to those discussions through our administration. Also on the 26th, I had the opportunity to meet with the Vice President of the Royal Bank, Ralph Boychuk, who was here in Thompson. He's a regional vice president, along with local management. I have to convey the absolutely absolute enthusiasm and interest that the Vice President had for investment in and around northern Manitoba. Sometimes we miss it, but Thompson is seen very much as that center of economic activity in the north, and it's nice to see the banks coming to Thompson looking for investment opportunities. On January 27th, I had the opportunity to provide greetings at the Norman Games that were held at the Thompson Regional Community Center, and Artie Parker. Very pleased to welcome athletes from throughout northern Manitoba. The Norman Games is a program unlike anywhere else in the province. We have regional games here in Thompson. It was Thompson's turn. Appropriate that we did so while we await the response from the province of Manitoba and our bid for 2014 Manitoba Games. And this was a great opportunity. I want to acknowledge the volunteers, Sport Manitoba, as well as our own staff from the Recreation Department for their work and the efforts they put into hosting the athletes. On January 28th, I had an opportunity to participate in the Surviving the Cold fundraiser, and I will acknowledge that my participation wasn't the full event. It was limited to providing some greetings and staying and doing a little bit of networking. But I will acknowledge that Councillor Beyer was there for the full event, and I have to tell you, it was a tremendous event, and I want to acknowledge the board and staff of the Thompson Homeless Shelter, as well as the CMHA for the work that they put into the event, and the number of people that got out. And as I reminded people, I think that it was interesting to see that event following on the heels of the meetings that we had on Thursday, Friday, and I truly believe that this community is getting that vision, that combined vision for where we have to go on homelessness and addictions, and so I appreciate the efforts of all those that participated. This morning I had the opportunity to provide greetings at the conference here, the Thompson AntiGang Conference. And I have to tell you, I was absolutely impressed with the tremendous turnout at that event. As Council is aware, we are one of the contributing organizations, and I was pleased and proud to pass that along. I can tell you, as I looked out into the room this morning, it was a full room with a variety of organizations that have come together with the theme of working together, and I want to acknowledge the organizing committee that has worked hard to pull this event off, and specifically May Mossop and the work that she did, and goes right back, Deputy Mayor Fensky, I think, to a public safety meeting where she made a presentation. But it looks like a tremendous event. Dr. Mark Taunton is here, and I had a chance to hear him briefly this morning, and I look forward to hopefully dropping in on that conference over the next 2 days. And I would encourage members of council, if you have an opportunity, to drop in. I've encouraged our administration to do so as well, because obviously the City of Thompson will have to be one of those key players in terms of an anti-gang strategy. In terms of a couple other things I just want to remind people of, the big one is that, believe it or not, January is almost at an end. It seems to have gone by fairly quickly, but I can tell you that that means that upcoming is Winterfest. And we're going to kick off our month-long celebration of winter in our community this Friday, February the 3rd, with the fireworks display. Encourage people to get out and take part. I hear the weather is going to be phenomenal over the weekend, so this is an opportunity to get out and celebrate what we all enjoy here in northern Manitoba, and that's a tremendous winter environment. So I encourage people to get out, take in the fireworks and all the other events. Any more details can be obtained by speaking with the Recreation Department. I do have 2 other notes that I want to pass along before I read some proclamations. The first is that I was away for 2 weeks. It appears I picked the week and a half to be away in terms of weather for sure, but I was absolutely stunned upon my return to see the amount of snow that has fallen in the last week or 2. I really want to encourage residents to take caution on the streets. I know that the piles have grown immensely. We've had crews out trying to clear. I think we're just finishing our Priority 1 streets today. We'll be moving into the residential areas, but please slow down, drive to the conditions. Please observe our equipment working. We've discussed the need to remove some of those snow piles from the corners. We're going to be pushing it back. I saw some of that this evening on the way here, but we look for the cooperation of residents, and we will endeavor to get that snow cleared as soon as we possibly can. The other one that I just want to make some comments on is the public utility decision. I can't tell you how pleased I was to get that decision, and when I read the release of the Public Utility Board, I was very pleased to see that they acknowledged and commended the City of Thompson on moving forward with a utility. And they specifically acknowledged the state of disrepair of our system. And I think that I think we'll all agree that it's been a hard, long process to get here. It hasn't been without its bumps, but I'll tell you this, I'm very pleased that we've finally arrived at the point for this community where there will be dollars available to do that capital work that is needed. And I'm very pleased that with the public utility decision, we should see the start of that replacement as soon as the summer of 2012. And I think that that really is, for me, when the work that's gone into it is really going to start to pay off. So I acknowledge the work of councils, this and previous, in their efforts to bring forward that utility. I do have two proclamations that I want to provide. The first one is that by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the City of Thompson, I hereby proclaim the month of February 2012 as Heart and Stroke Month in the City of Thompson. This is one that certainly is near and dear to myself and my family, and I can tell you that I encourage people to ensure that they pay attention and follow this. And some of the advertisements are very striking that I'm seeing on TV this month, and are interesting with some of the stats. So I encourage people to pay attention, and not only to the month, but to the reality of heart and stroke in our community and society. The second one I wanted to note is and it's the fairly lengthy proclamation that I know Council has moved forward, so I'm just going to read the end, and that is that therefore, as Mayor of the City of Thompson, I hereby proclaim that the week of February 5th through 11th, 2012 shall be International Development Week in the City of Thompson. I recognize the Federation of Canadian Municipalities' contribution over the past 25 years as a Canadian and world leader in international municipal development. Finally, I invite all citizens to become informed about international development, to show their solidarity with developing countries, and to continue to support Canadian municipalities' international community building efforts. That concludes my mayor's report, but as I said, I was away for most of it, and I'm going to go to Deputy Mayor Fenske, as well as some of the other members of council who I know have attended events in my absence. And Deputy Mayor Fenske, anything further to add?
No, I think you covered the ones that I covered on your behalf.
Thank you. Councillor Byer?
Yes, I did participate in the fundraising for the homeless shelter. I just want to make a few observations. A couple of things. It's a very unique idea. It was a very good idea. I don't know yet how much they raised, but a few things. First of all, as a 3-hour participant, I had the privilege, if you will, and the luxury of being able to dress for the weather. Not all of our homeless people do. In fact, very few of our homeless people do. Despite being dressed for the weather, after a point of standing around talking for an hour, you do start getting cold. Your feet start getting cold, etc. So the way to keep warm is to move around. Well, I chose to do what a few other people did, and I went and I was asking passerbys for donations for the homeless shelter. Got a variety of responses, and to be honest, I don't know which response bothered me the most. The people who looked at me and made faces as they drove by, or the people who purposely ignored me. Now, my self-esteem is fairly self-intact. I'm not sure that the people who are homeless can say the same or feel the same. And if they get that kind of reaction from residents of Thompson, my heart goes out to them even more than it did before. One other observation, with me stopping people, asking them for money, if I was a homeless person, I could have been arrested for panhandling. So even though we were doing this exercise to simulate what homeless people go through, there were some pretty big differences, and I sure hope that that the fundraising efforts produce something really, really good. The other comment is about the TAG conference that's underway. I've been involved only in a small way, but I must say that a lot of work has also been done by two of our administration, Marilyn Duval and Kane Doran, and they represent the city very well. I think we can be very proud to have professional administration people like that. One other thing, I missed some time too. I was away in a warm location. And I'm very proud to say that I promoted Thompson on my vacation. I have 4 email addresses from people who now want to come to Thompson for a visit, and 2 of them have already sent me an email. One of them plans on coming this summer. So I'm going to do my best to attract people here.
Excellent, thank you. Any other comments from members of council? Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.